Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the uh, March 2023 Landmarks Community Board 1 meeting. And we have, who was first? Willa for 120 Broadway?
That is
Correct.
correct. Hello,
Okay,
everyone.
so,
Oh,
and we heard about this project before, so give us less of the history and more of the proposed, existing and proposed.
okay.
So before we start, is 39 North Moore not on, or I'm following the agenda? We're going right to 120.
Oh,
Change the agenda this morning and she'll explain it. It's going to be 30 seconds. She's going to tell you, and then we're going to move on.
Got it.
Okay, so this morning I found out that I was put on the agenda for this evening. And what I told Lucy when I spoke to her earlier is that I did reach out to Landmarks. I did submit an application, and I was waiting for them to give me confirmation on what is the material finish color that was approved in the master plan, like you guys had recommended in our last month's meeting. So with that said, this afternoon, Landmark emailed me and gave me the information I need. And it turns out it's the same exact finished color that's already in my presentation. So what I want to do is pull up the email. We could first start with that from which Landmark sent me this afternoon. And then I can jump into my presentation and give you a summary again. Does that sound good?
yes, but I
Guys?
just
Okay.
want to ask one more question.
Yes.
Aren't you going to be proposing something that is within the master plan?
Within the master plan? No,
Well-
so basically what we're doing an accessibility upgrade to the commercial space on the left-hand side.
But wasn't there a master plan for all commercial space infill?
Yeah, so I reached out to Landmarks and I sent them the presentation. Excuse me if you guys hear kids in the background. Like I said, I got made aware today that I was going to be presenting, so I didn't have no babysitter, so. But,
No, don't hear it. It's fine. Great. doing
okay,
great.
thank you. So basically what I'm presenting, so let me just share then what I'm presenting. We'll start from there, just to refresh everyone's memory, okay? So hold on. And I should have control to, let me see, do I have control to share? Okay, and share. Okay. Let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good? Okay. So basically, what we are presenting and proposing here is making this entryway more accessible, because right now as it stands, there is this bump out here, which makes it not accessible for the customers to get into the bank. Let me see, let me try to get you guys a picture. So, okay, so this is the existing partial plan here. So what we have here is a step up, and then there's like a revolving door, and then there's this door here, but this ramp here is not the 8.33% that is ADA compliant. So what we are proposing here is to ramp this to ADA compliance and have double doors to get into this vestibule. And then there'll be another set of double doors. So that's what we are presenting, just to make here more accessible. And then here we had shown what the demo plan would be, is just to remove the revolving door and then the door here. So that's this plan. Let's go. And then this was the proposed. So this was the existing proposed bronze, dark bronze metal finish that we proposed, which is already there. It's existing with the storefront that's there now. As you can see, it's more spacious. There will be double doors here. this will be ramped up. This is just a demo elevation here. This is the proposed right here. And these are some pictures just to show you the step right there.
So you're presenting the same thing that you presented last month, correct? Hello?
I can hear you, Jason.
Oh, okay, you can hear me.
Something must have happened with her.
Okay, so, okay, well, we'll
A
wait
little
for
confused.
that.
This morning she called me and told me she was postponing, and I emailed you, and now she's here, and looks like she's presenting the same exact thing. So I don't know if you want to move on, and maybe she has technical and go to 39.
Yeah, let's go to, yeah, because she'll stick around or she won't, and we gotta, well, let's give her one solid minute to get back.
Hello?
And- Oh, hello?
Oh, I am so sorry. I don't know what. You
Well,
guys-
pause for a second. I'm gonna help a little bit, okay? Are you presenting the same thing that you presented last week to the same, last month to the same people?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a master plan?
Yeah, and I can pull it up because LPC.
Don't worry. Don't bother pulling it up. Just go, stick with me here. There's a master plan for storefront removal and replacement for this building? You said yes, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is what you're presenting within the boundaries of this master plan? Did you study the master plan to see if you comply with the master plan?
So, so the LPC plan examiner, he sent me the master plan, and in there, yes, I am in compliance.
So then we don't actually need to hear this, because the point of the master plan is to avoid this step in the process. So what I'd really, really like you to do is contact your staff person. Who's the staff person?
His name is, hold on, I'll tell you. No. Just emailed me today. Yeah. Marcelo Pacheco.
Marcelo. He's terrific. So
Great.
what you want to ask him is show him your presentation and say,
Oh,
Marcelo.
I did. I did.
But he should have told you if you're in compliance with the master plan
He
or
did.
not.
He did. So he just said that I still needed the community board blessing.
Okay, all right.
So
So
I'll even share
up
my
the
email.
proposed and put up the proposed, please. And if you can share, well,
The email?
no, more the master plan, because,
Okay.
and so just master plan and then the proposed. And then
Okay.
I think we can weigh in very quickly on it for you.
Okay. Sounds good. So. Share. All right, so this is the email that I received from him. And this is it right here.
I'm trying to do it by myself.
So I'm sure you guys already seen this. But what I will do is scroll down to the part here that talks about the color. So he sent me this as well. I guess this is, so this was what was approved. And then in here, he goes into saying, action description, creating a building-wide master plan for HVAC louver installation to limit all future HVAC louver installation to specific window bays and to establish a consistent building standard louver in full and transom windows configuration with a dark bronze finish to match the window frame as shown and described in existing condition photographs dated submitted December 10th, 1997, in highlighted elevation and typical floor plan drawings dated April 17, 1997, and in correspondence dated December 10th, 1997, and April 17, 1997, all prepared by James Haplin, District Manager for Silverstein Properties, and submitted as component of the application. In reviewing this proposal, the commission notes that the Equitable Building Designated Report states that 120 Broadway is a 38-story roof arch style office building designed by the firm ER. So this goes into, but in here, shh, please. In here, he, as he noted in his email to me, dark bronze finish to match the window frame. And basically what we are doing is we're matching this color to match the windows, the storefront that's on the first floor, on the ground floor. And then even here, he goes into saying the commission further notes that all the windows in the building were replaced with new bronze finish
Okay,
aluminum windows.
I think we got the finishes bronze. Let's move on to the proposed
Okay,
configuration of the ADA, and then you're just gonna put it up there, and we're gonna just go right at it around the table.
okay.
And I don't remember where we landed in the last meeting. I think it was kind of right in the middle, whether we liked it or not, but give us a shot, and we'll comment, and then we'll write. So you're going to take out the thing, and then you're gonna put in the new infill of storefront, right?
Correct. Yes,
We don't care about the granite. I mean, we love the granite.
yeah,
But
nope, I'm about to change the here.
there you go.
So this is the existing, right? And then I'm just gonna jump into that's the reference. So this is it right here. This is what's existing. As you can see, it's already a dark bronze finish, metal finish. And this is the same exact material finish color we are presenting and proposing as well. We have that right here.
Oh boy. So show us the proposed. Yeah, you're gonna zoom in. That's the proposed infill, this little thing.
Yes,
Okay, zoom in more, please, if
oh,
possible,
sure, yep.
on that. Okay, I'm gonna start.
Mhm.
Is this meeting rail something that exists in other? I'm not talking about the doors. Well, first of all, I'm sorry. Let me ask one question first.
Sure.
Are you replacing everything between granite piers, or just okay? Everything's bronze.
Yes,
What-
everything will be bronze, and we are replacing the granite because it's cracked, and we will be sloping it to
What
meet
is
ADA
this
compliance.
rail? What is this meeting rail on the right-hand panel? Is that something that is within the
A
master
rail?
plan that the master plan calls for?
Wait, where do you see a rail?
Like 2'6" off the ground to the right of the door.
Oh, that's just the storefront. So that's,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a fixed window panels here.
4
So this is
panels.
the main, right, exactly. So that's
With the
like the
meeting rail.
mullion, right here.
Is that something that's in other parts of the building, this meeting rail?
This meeting rail? Well,
Yes.
in the master plan, they didn't go and they didn't specify if there is this piece in between.
Does the master plan have a diagram that shows what the intent is for the replacement? Or is it just a bunch of words and plans?
Just a bunch of words.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'm not gonna really, I think it's okay. It's not great. But I think the proportions are, I guess, in keeping with what's what's there? It's hard because you've snipped in so close. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so
Well, this
that's
is the demo. Hold on,
okay. Yeah,
let
show
me
us
try to
that.
get you the
Uh,
proposed here.
uh, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
Is that better for you guys?
Is Chow next? He's got to leave soon, and we need to move on. So someone go next. I said I'm okay with it.
Well, I'm just gonna say, I guess we're disappointed because we wanted to match the center bay. So where does it say in the master plan that the side bays, like this one, is to be in dark bronze and everything else in the center is in brass?
Well, that's the thing. So in this master plan that that Marcelo sent over,
Yeah.
I'll show it to
Oh.
you one more time. It's basically just 31 pages and all of it is just content. And in there, and I read it all. This is pretty much it. It doesn't go into details about how a storefront, a proposed storefront should be laid out, or this is it all right here. And I'll go through it here with you guys, but
No,
That's
don't do that.
okay.
But I think now that Vicky's spoken, I'm just going to go back and say I'm leaning for it's not your fault, but it's not consistent with any like details of the master plan that we're being made aware of. So I think
so is this not the master plan that I'm showing you that?
well it is, and I'm sure it's
Okay.
all of 50 pages. We
It's
can't
31.
yeah, we
Did he
can't
short me?
we can't be looking at that now with you in analyzing it. So what I suggest is if this is what you want to go forward with, I still feel like so these are like configurations.
Yeah, these
but-
are the windows. These are types of windows.
Mhm. I still feel like
Yeah, that's not a finish.
information
Right.
to
So
write a favorable approval here. I don't think the room is going to want it, but if the room turns in that other direction and wants to just do this one, I can be convinced. But so far it's been me and Vicky, so we need to hear from everybody else, and then we need to move on, and then we'll hear from you one more time too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Vicky, and just that it'd be nice to see everything looking the same, but
Like, if there was a
Like-
master plan, why on earth would they make two different materials side by side? I don't understand. There's a primary reading and then the secondary. Why is the secondary in this case different? And are you sure that's the case? I don't think dark
So-
bronze.
yes, it says it right. You see dark bronze.
But
That's
are they
the-
calling dark bronze? Are they referring to dark bronze as in the center as well?
They said it here. I'll go back to the approved letter. They said that the whole window. Yeah, let me go back to that.
Because you're not, if you're interpreting dark bronze possibly differently than they are.
No, I don't think I'm misunderstanding anything because it's clearly here in text. It says the commissioning finally notes that the mechanical louver installed in the building, and then they say
Right.
between 1983 and 1996.
No,
has
I know, those are
followed-
mechanical louvers, right? And we're
Right.
asking about the doors and the
Well,
windows.
okay, so we could go up to this paragraph here that says that it's and to establish a consistent building standard, louver in full and transient windows configurations with a dark bronze finish to match the window frames as shown and described in existing condition photographs. So dark bronze, it's stating right there. It is the it is what's the window frame, basically the storefront.
So Jason, she's saying that the original building was designed and is in the exact condition that it's shown now. Is that possible? Doesn't look like it. Which is why I asked if, I think last week or last month, we asked if you had a photo of the existing building
Oh, yeah,
showing the
Yeah,
materials.
so this is the existing building right here, so I could show you what
Oh,
the
that's
materials are.
existing now. We meant existing when it was designed.
I mean, the building was designed in the 1920s, so.
Yes, believe it or not, this document exists, okay?
No, I understand that, but right now, this is what LPC said it's okay to move forward with. They didn't specify that we needed to match the existing original condition. Because, I did what you guys said to go and ask them, and this is what Marcelo asked. I mean, this is what he advised, and it was even in his email. And he said it here, the document lists a dark bronze ceramic finish color for the windows and louvre. My understanding is that it is a pretty standard finish that can be seen at the existing modern storefront framing throughout the block. This is
Uh,
right there.
Vicky, is
We
your
don't-
only objection the finish? Do you
Yeah,
object?
that was my only
No, I don't-
objection last
listen.
month.
No, Vicky.
I know,
Oh,
well, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm not even sure he understands what is right. I'm sorry, you're right, Jason. I would like to bring back or maintain the greatest possible design dignity of this building. And so I keep saying, if the center door is brass color, let's just say brass, we don't know what the finish, doesn't matter what the material is, it's brass color. Why are the side bays black? And the original the original drawings would tell us that. And I would like to see that. I have, that's my thing. You guys can vote any way you want.
Okay, what does everybody else think? And then we'll vote. Nobody else thinks anything. Is anyone here from the public? Okay, so I feel like I agree with Vicky, and Gerald said something like he agrees. So could we write a favorable resolution that says, and we only if it's if the material is actually something that matches what we know was there, which is brass.
Or the center, right, of the center door. We're fine with that. Absolutely, I agree with you. We
So-
don't mind the configuration. We just mind the material color.
And then we're on record on that. But if they go with the master plan, because that's the way it's written, then that's it. They did what they wanted, and okay. So can I have a second, or can I call the question?
Second, yeah, second.
Okay.
Opposed? Abstain, recusal, motion carries. I've already moved the next presenter. for
Okay.
30.
And how
Thank
long
you.
do we have Cal left for? How long? 10 minutes? 5 minutes?
I don't know, it's,
10
looks
minutes.
like 10
Okay.
minutes.
So James, you're up.
Thank you, William.
Okay.
Oh,
We can do this in 10 minutes. Okay.
Well, let's
All right,
try
thanks,
to do
everyone.
it in 5, and then we can have
Oh.
Chow for 2 things.
Great. All right. Well, thanks everyone for taking the time. Just to quickly introduce, I'm James McDonald, the architect. I'm here with my client, Patrick Moran and Nicholas Chow. They bought this property about 15 months ago. This is at 39 North Moore Street, which is a through block building. Their portion of the property actually faces the intersection of Holland Tunnel. So it faces the north side. The property has basically been abandoned since 2008. There's been 3 different owners. It's a challenging property unit to deal with. But basically right now it's abandoned. The rats love it. We're trying to take it over, do the right thing. And I think with that, I'm going to turn it over to Patrick to do sort of all the research he did for the property. So Patrick, if you can maybe share the screen.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking the time. I'm going to pull up our LPC presentation. Me.
While he does that, just to note, we are through the DOB process. We have all our approvals. Obviously, the last thing here is to get through Landmarks, and they referred us to you. So
What's the
happy to
scope of
continue
the
the
project?
conversation.
What's the scope of the project?
It's a unit, 39th North Moore has, over time, used to be a warehouse building, 6 stories high, has been transformed to residential use, with the exception of this last unit, Unit 1A on the north side, which remained a warehouse function. So the loading dock was truly a loading dock. There is a roll-up grill, roll-up shutter that was there, fairly dilapidated. There's also a service door to the building that they bring the trash out. So it's sort of the last remaining piece of that portion of the block that is not in great condition. And, so we're taking this on and trying to convert that unit to residential use, which again has been approved by DOB. We just need to sort of finalize the landmarks.
Can I just say that it goes the other way around? You get landmark approval before you get DOB?
No, understood. I mean, it's been approved pending, you're absolutely right, Vicky.
Thank
It's been approved pending their sign off. So,
Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so as Jim said, we're facing the Holland Tunnel, right on the park there on Erickson Place. This right here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, is the through building going from Northmore to Erickson Place. This is the existing right now, and here is what we are proposing to do. We're hoping to strip the black paint off the brick. We did a mock-up. I'll show you a photograph of that in a moment. We're going to hopefully replace the loading dock with a cast iron loading dock with vaulted lights. We did some research that the design we were planning on doing is native to Tribeca. It was actually, the store was on Worth Street right here. We picked an original design from them, from the Jacob Mark. So we would do vaulted lights on the top, all in cast iron. And there's the mock-ups. I don't know if you can see. Probably stripped the paint off using minimal amounts of harmful chemicals. We did quite a few test runs to get it, and I think with some water and some sponges, I think we can bring it back and restore it to its original brick, which is a nice thing. The handrails that we put a lot of thought into, we took into account the St. John's terminal that was across the street where we would be looking out onto, and the rails would mimic, the handrails would mimic a train track, and they also line up with the 3rd and 4th floor metal fire escapes. They follow the same geometry. The windows and doors that we picked for the project are Hopes. They're a Landmark series. I think that they blend in well with the neighboring building to the left. It's a similar aesthetic. And to the right is the original 36 Erickson Place, which was Beach Street. It was actually John Erickson's house. If you can see the window patterns there, it's similar to what we were intending to do. And that's it. I know I could go on, but I think we're a little bit short on time. So if you want more, if you have questions, jump ahead.
Go on. Okay, so very nice. And it seems like what's actually at a public hearing here is the vaulted area, which you're going to do a very expensive job of putting all vault lights, and we thank you for that. And then you have,
there's actually no vault under the sidewalk on Erickson Place there.
Right, but you have that bulkhead, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
But you just got rid of your presentation. What happened to your presentation? Is it up?
Sorry, did I close it off? My apologies.
It's beautiful, thank you. And then the storefront, I mean, it's steel. who else would say no to all that? So I don't have a problem with it, and I love it. I think it's great. And I think next, who wants to go next?
Is it okay if I ask? The awning, it's not an awning, it's.
Yeah,
It's
so
like a
the
marquee.
awning, the awning,
It's
the
a
only,
marquee.
the only remediation to the awning is we were just gonna paint it black. We're not touching any of the structural integrity of it. We're not adding anything to it. We're not
Great. Well,
taking
we won't
anything
even-
away. Just
we won't even talk about it then. If you're not doing anything to it, there's nothing to
No.
say. So thank you.
So the windows on the bottom are casement, they're coming out, and the ones up above are double hung. Are we okay with that? Jason,
Yes, Vicky, I missed your question. Something just,
yeah, I said these windows here are casements, and the ones up above are double hung, or like, I think,
what?
2/2.
No,
Yeah,
he said
see,
it was Hope. He said it was a Hope window system, which means it's steel. So
it's steel and
There's
it's the
no-
Hope
there's no
Landmark
double
series.
no, I said their casements mean that they're swinging in or out, and the ones up top are wood, and they're 2/2 wood, double hung. So on ground floor is a different type of system. You okay with that?
well,
The one thing to add just on that is, we were trying to pick up, if you can see the property to the left where there's shutters. It's a
Yeah.
very vertical look before it goes, up top to the double hung there as well. So we tried to really work with the context and keep the verticality of the lower bay similar to, yeah, what's adjacent to it.
See, they're casements, right? The window there shows that it's a casement.
Yeah, and we tried to pick that up for the verticality because the
Yeah, no,
concern
don't
is,
worry.
yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to check with Jason what he
Well,
thought.
I have a
And-
follow-up question after you're done, Vicky.
All right, well, so Jason, my thought is like, I don't know how the committee thought of this before. In terms of using this ground floor now as residential, to have a metal window might be more, not secure realistically, but maybe theoretically. So having this kind of semi-commercial residential floor might not be bad at all. I just don't know how you guys thought about this in the past. If this was a storefront, it'd be, slightly different as well, but still, I don't know how you think about the wood residential and metal residential all in the same facade.
Well, is there any original fabric that's being removed? I didn't get a real sense of what's there today.
Okay, so let me pull up what's there right now. And see if I can zoom in on this. So this is what's there right now.
And we can't see, are those windows, doors, blank off? What is that?
Sorry,
So the center
There's a
is
double
a
hung on the
roll-up
right.
shutter. The windows on the right are metal, and then there's a service door to the left. So it's a bit of a hodgepodge.
You know what? I'm gonna take back what I said. I think what would be nice, and I want to play designer. What's happening in the all the way in the left bay though? Now I don't even understand in your proposed.
That's the door now.
What is
sorry,
it?
that's a service door here. Right
Yeah.
now, so right now it's CMU block.
But what's it
It's
become?
block that was put in 2008 when the building turned into condos. It's just a block, CMU block, and a hollow metal service door. With
And
that,
Staying?
pardon?
That's staying?
So
We're
so
upgrading it.
sorry, Jim, let me pull the drawings on that.
It's technically not part of the property, but we've worked it with the building that we're going to upgrade it so that it looks similar to what's happening in the other bays.
Is there any?
Yeah.
any-
Now I'm
Do
seeing.
we have any photograph of what's happening behind this shutter?
Right. Good question.
A photograph of the inside?
Yes.
There's nothing
Yes.
behind the shutter.
There's
Yeah.
no, it's just an opening. There's nothing behind the shutter.
Yeah, yeah, there was
I'm
used as
gonna
a
show you right
warehouse.
now.
I guess that in the end, I'm not against the steel and the way that you guys have cut it up into panels, but it is missing all the way on the right-hand side some sort of water table, or, you know, the glass shouldn't go all the way down to the floor in the bays that aren't doors. And you can see that configuration now, albeit not original, and there's a reason for that. So I'm going to say I need to see some sort of base there, and then I can get fully behind the steel, and I don't mind that it's not wood. So it just seems, it seems like it's missing that, especially if you're not going to really like make that left bay. I see you're trying to upgrade it, but it's really not, like, you're not harmonizing all three bays in this move. So, you know, I don't know.
Right, but the bay to the extreme left and the center bay are doors, so the only window is the one on the right.
No, I understand that.
Okay, sorry.
Who else has anything that they want to say?
Yeah, Jason, I do. So I'm looking at this, the existing fabric on the left. And am I missing something? It appears that the horizontal, for the transom, it appears that the doors are shorter than the double door on the building to the left. Is that correct? Looks like it's drawn that way too. And
Yeah, correct, because the building service corridor is higher than the unit, if you will. So it is a slightly different height that we're mitigating by, I don't know if you can go back to the stair plan, Patrick?
Yes,
I
sorry.
know, I know. Can you just, oh my God, you're moving around. Just stay on an elevation, please, on a front elevation that you propose. Not this one, because we can't see it.
well, Vicky, I think he's trying to show the
I was trying to get a
interior
better
for
picture of the surface door for you guys, but I'll do this stuff.
So Jerry, can I ask you, on the bottom here where the proposed elevation is, on the right, yeah, right there. I think that, to follow up on Utor's comment, if, the right bay, instead of it going all the way to the floor, which is very, very commercial, if it had a, steel plate on the, up to the first, stile or rail, I'm sorry, I'm too tired, right up to there. If it wasn't, three sets of doors in a row, if the center bay was a door, and that bay right there, if you had a metal panel, I think that would be residential, more in residential flavor. Jerry?
if there's a panel on the bottom.
Right, if it was a window rather than, this is a casement window, okay? This is not a door, right, on the right side. The window is in the
Correct.
center, okay? And below the window, you're doing glazing, right?
Yeah, and just to be clear, the reason for that is to meet the code for light and air in the property, we need that additional glazing. It's a very deep unit. And
You don't have
to meet
windows in the
requ-
back? Oh,
No, it's
okay,
not.
no,
It's a
no,
very
in that
deep unit.
case, listen, in that case, I understand your hardship. Thank you for letting us know. If you
Alright,
need
so
that,
so going back to what I was saying though was the transoms. I just don't understand why they're not lining up with the structure on the left. It looks like the doors.
he's
Okay,
like
so
there.
On
He
the,
just,
I'm
door-
sorry,
this
on the
door
left,
on the
this
left.
is the single service door, and
Yeah.
here right now is just CMU block painted black.
I
So-
understand that, and it looks. Is there a step up to that service door? Is that what I'm seeing behind the railing?
There's a step, yes.
There is a step up, okay, but I'm talking about the top of the door. both that door and the center bay door are not aligned with the doors on the left, even though the platform is aligned with the platform on the left.
Yeah, we were able to drop that down. The challenge with what's above the service doors is a mechanical unit.
Uh-huh.
Try to push it up as much as possible.
Can you get a shorter mechanical unit? I mean, this is existing or you're replacing it?
No, we're gonna replace it. I can
Okay.
attempt to do that.
I mean, I just want to see this horizontal above the door align with the structure on the left.
No, but he can't. He just told you that he needs light and air. For the
That would give
center
him more.
bay,
That would give him more light and air.
no, less.
That would give him more.
He only owns the two windows to the
This-
right.
Yeah, this is belong to the building. This is the service corridor of the building. We're just doing a cosmetic repair on it to match what we're doing in our aspect.
So okay, so
So
the
we're-
cosmetic, but the mechanical unit's being replaced and the cosmetic repair is what exactly then? You said there's concrete block existing. Are you keeping the
So
existing
the
service door as well?
the Hope's frame system for the glass, for the door and the window here, we're bringing it over and having it here, so the three bays will be the same. And
Yeah.
yeah, Jim, do you want to take that maybe?
That's right. So we're gonna replace the door. We're gonna put metal paneling to the side as well. And I'm sorry, I misspoke before when we talked about the mechanical. The mechanical above their unit is obviously new, but the mechanical above the service corridor and what they have up there is existing. So that sort of predates us. Now,
Okay, but
there's currently
there's currently no, there's
Jerry.
currently, excuse me, there's
No,
currently
Jerry,
no louver.
I have
There's
to
currently no
interrupt.
louver in this
Daryl,
position, so it seems
I
that we
have to
can,
interrupt, Daryl.
it seems that we could keep this
Daryl, I
horizontal.
have to interrupt because Chow is leaving, which means we're losing quorum.
I see. Okay, well, I mean, if you want to call the question, my vote would be no.
Um,
I'm not, I lost
Okay,
connection.
sorry,
Everyone
just,
get
just,
to
Okay.
speak?
just to respond very quickly on that, if you look at the existing photograph, which I'm sorry, it's not.
okay, I'm
Yeah, you
sorry,
can
we
see
don't have.
above the door, there's a wood panel right above the service door that's blocking off the unit. Is the unit working? I don't know, but do I want to go in and demo out a unit that's not mine? Not really.
No, no.
So, but right now, there's no exhaust to it then, it seems. And you're
Jerry,
providing a louver.
we have to go.
I understand,
Chow
Vicky,
is
and I have
leaving.
one more comment to
No,
make, which is
no,
the
I'm sorry.
verticals.
After Chow okay, we're gonna lose quorum, Jerry. This is it.
Is there anybody else we can bring in for quorum? It
No.
seems like we should call somebody.
I'm trying to get Tammy. She said, to text her if you need her, but she prefers not to.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
If you
this,
vote on this, she's gonna have to come on for the next one.
no.
All right,
Jason, are
so
you
if we don't
here?
have quorum and we're gonna vote, what are we doing then?
No, we
We can
don't.
ask them to
We're
come
gonna have-
back?
Yeah, no, we're gonna have quorum. I'm sorry. Jason.
Vote on this one, and then I'm gonna try to get Tammy for the next one.
Oh, okay, that's
Okay,
great.
well, Vicky, excuse me, my last comment would be the bay on the left, I also, the left, I hesitate to call it a side light, but it would seem to me that needs the same sort of break with verticals somehow. And that's my last comment. Thank you.
I'm
Okay,
going to, Jason, are you here?
I'm here, yes.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
can you call the question? Let's just say we're gonna approve it as is, and then if people don't wanna vote yes, that's fine. Is that what
Uh-huh.
you understand?
I mean, I missed a good 2 or 3 minutes of this because I,
It's
for
okay.
some
It's
reason,
basically what
disconnected,
I-
but
Yeah, it's what I summarized, and Charles here, and he has to go. He keeps, you
yeah,
know,
I
you text him.
can't actually vote in favor of approval resolution. It's too many different bays going on, no water table. It's just, I love the steel, but it's really just not keeping enough consistency on that 25 feet there. So Okay, are you gonna write this one? You wanna write this one? I can write a favorable one, but it's kind of weird to write a favorable one and then vote against your own favorable
No, what he was
resolution.
saying is that the reason he can't reduce the lights is because he needs light and air calculation.
No, I don't want him to reduce the lights. I don't really care that the building is a separate condo and therefore the left bay of this tripartite building isn't treated in, in
Yeah,
concert
okay.
with the other two. It does, I can't, I get it. I know it's politics, but I don't want,
And guys,
to get involved.
maybe this is my fault a little bit on the presentation, but I do believe we send the construction drawings over for review also. And I think in there, it does show the panels that are going on the side. It shows the frame, and I think on the construction drawings, it probably looks more symmetrical, more uniform than in the renderings.
Hey, Tammy's here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chow.
Okay,
Sorry about
wonderful.
that.
Hey,
Thank you,
don't let
Sal.
him leave. Don't let
Hold on,
him
Chow.
Wait,
Chow.
Yes.
Oh.
You need to understand, I actually have a family emergency. So I dialed in. I'm a little confused.
I have an appointment at 6:45 and I'm ready for it.
Can we move on with the vote and you guys can discuss that later?
Take your vote without me because I wasn't here for it. Make sure
Correct,
Chow votes
Abby,
because he
thank
saw
you.
it, and then I'll be here for the next one. And
you
I'm just
very
kind of pissed off.
I want to see those construction drawings. So send them to Lucy, and I'm gonna abstain.
Lucy does have
She
them.
has them. She has them. But Jason, maybe, can you explain the water table issue? Because it is.
Well, in you can imagine pretty much. I know you're
James
going
is
to.
he's leaving Chow, so I don't know.
Well,
what to
can't
tell
Chow just vote
Okay.
yes or no now? I mean,
I'll vote
you.
yes.
Because you're still in discussion.
okay. Well, then I'm gonna call it to question, and I'm gonna abstain, and then the guys are gonna send the things, and I'm gonna look at it hard, and I'll vote yes or no at the full board meeting.
Okay, I have one
Personally.
abstention. Any opposals?
Second abstention.
I'm abstaining
Sam,
too.
I'm sorry. Vera's abstaining. Who's the third abstention?
Gerald.
Megan and Vicky, how are you voting?
oh, I'm for it.
I'm for
I
it.
say yes.
And Chow.
I'll vote in favor, Megan.
Sorry, Chow.
I'm a yes.
And Megan's a yes.
So we have 3 in favor, 3 abstain. I don't think motion carries.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you, guys. We'll
I'm
figure it
gonna
out.
mute
in the full
myself for a
board.
second while I get
Okay.
some thoughts here and get the news. While you guys take a breather, I'll
So-
get the next person on.
All right, so just, you guys sort of give your feedback so we can make sure we address it. Is that how?
Well, do
Yeah,
you
we'll
have
forward.
this construction document that you wanted us to share? Because we didn't get anything. Do you have
Yeah.
that sheet you can put up?
Yep.
Okay.
Me? It's in the share drive. I can look for
Yeah,
whatever.
it's in the
you want.
shared drive. It's in the set of drawings.
But James, listen, we're gonna move on, and then what's gonna happen is
We can't move on without Tammy.
Well, we're gonna move on with James's. Isn't James the one that just presented?
We're not
I'm
on 39.
Patrick.
Wait,
This is the
stop,
architect.
stop.
Oh,
We've already
okay.
voted on 39.
Okay.
We're done. Have a good night.
Thank you.
it's over.
39.
I'm sorry to be rude and to jump in as a staff member. Tammy's like, okay, we can't do this anymore. So now the next one is Vincent. Sorry, my apologies for being.
No, don't, you're
Aggressive.
right. We apologized all to each other, like I was jumping on Jerry, but I can see him texting here and saying I'm leaving.
Okay,
and
Vincent,
you know-
you're 1 Wall Street. Is there anyone else joining you? So I can move them.
Thank you, everybody.
Sorry, Jerry.
No, that's fine, Vicky. And I apologize too. I mean, this is one of those.
Oh, you
things
were in the middle of a thought.
So do we
and
have
Chow
quorum
had an
though now for
appointment
the
with
rest?
us.
Yes, Vincent, are you the are you, who should I, okay, I should move over Cass. Thank you very much.
So we have quorum for the, do we
Yes,
have
Tammy
enough
came.
votes? I
Tammy's
Sorry,
here
I'm
now.
sorry that I'm trying, I'm not being so. Okay,
see. I just feel bad for the last applicant because, you know,
Yeah.
I know. Cass,
then
welcome,
I will
Cass.
do. Who am I giving the controls to?
Cass.
To me, and I'll pull up our presentation.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's you, Patrick. I'm sorry. I thought I was removing the other person, so I apologize. I kept taking it away from you like a kid. Okay, go ahead.
Julie, are you able to share the presentation? I'm not.
Yeah, don't rush, don't worry. It's the end of a long day.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
If I
don't
can,
be.
I'll see if I can get this going. Let's see.
Hi, everyone. I can also pull this up, Cass, if
Okay, that would be.
that'd
I'm
be
gonna have to
helpful.
quit and rejoin. So if you can,
Okay.
yeah. Let me just before you do that. Let me just check. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have you do it. So while you're doing that, Julie,
Good.
let me
I'm
do
just
some
gonna download
introductions.
this. Perfect.
Yeah. So thank you all for meeting with us this evening. I'm Cass Stackelberg of Higgins Waste Partners. Julie Rosen, my colleague, is on as well. And with me is Vinica Bellis and Danielle Cordero from Design Republic, who are the executive architects for the project. And we are representing Printemps, the French historic department store, who will be moving into a large portion of the base of One Wall Street. There's a fairly limited scope of work that we have to share with you, but it's on 3 sides of the building. So we're going to sort of take you around the building. And the scope involves replacing and removing non-historic revolving doors on Wall Street and installing swing doors that meet egress requirements. And then making modifications to the signage program that was approved in 2016. You all saw this application back then. It went to a public hearing and a public meeting at Landmarks, and there was an established sort of base of tenant signage that was approved at that time, and we're modifying that slightly based on the tenancy and sort of the additional commercial spaces that are being occupied as part of Printemps' lease. Julie, are you able to?
I apologize. It's not letting me share through the WebEx. I'm going to try to see if it will give me the option. What I might need to do is share through
Lucy,
the browser.
if I send you a link to the Dropbox, can you? I hate to ask you to share it, so never mind. That's it. Are you able to share it if I send you the link?
Probably not. My camera's not working. Kaz,
You just need to share. You just need to be able to share from the WebEx. Let's see.
Can you try Denny? If Danielle,
Yes, give me 1 second.
apologies.
And I can do a little bit more introduction, which will. Here, Danielle, it's coming.
Oh, that's something. Okay.
Where are we? Oh, there we go. Perfect. We're there. Whoop. Is Lucy? Are you sharing this? Because this is actually if this is what we sent you Friday, it's been updated, and I'd rather wait a second to share our updated set.
And send me the updated set, please.
Yeah.
But Cass, you're going to skip the backstory on this amazing building, right? And jump right
Yeah,
into
for sure. I know you guys know the building well. You know, there are a couple.
All right. I mean, all right. Let me.
So very good. While this is up, I can just do a brief introduction. Give me 1 second. So, you know the building, One Wall Street, historically known as the Irving Trust Building. It was constructed between 1929 and 31, an individual landmark designated in 2001. It has 2 parts. There's the northern portion of the building, which is the historic building designed by Ralph Walker. That's the landmark portion, and the southern portion constructed in the 1960s, which is on the overall landmark site. And that is the non-designated portion. The map on the lower right indicates the landmark portion. So there's frontages on Broadway, Wall Street, and New Street. Large scale building, 50 stories, frontages of 180 feet on New and Broadway, and 100 feet on Wall Street. Lucy, are you sure? Danny, can you go to the next? Printemps, as you may know, is a historic French department store. Printemps means spring in French, in case you're interested. This will be their first United States store, and they, as a brand, obviously. The building in Paris dates to the 1880s. They have a long history of stewardship of historic buildings, and we think, as they do, obviously, that they're a wonderful fit for this really important landmark. They're going to be occupying much of the ground floor and second floor, and a portion of the subcellar as well. And I'll share a plan with you in just a minute. Next. Some overall views of the building. As you know, corner of Wall and Broadway. If you can leave it here for 1 second, where the canopy is the main residential entry, and just to the south, the two bays to the south, which you can see in the lower right photo. When the project came through your review 6 years ago, those two bays were actually intended to be as part of residential use. They are part of Printemps' commercial lease area. So there was a signage program that was designed by Robert M. Stern and approved. It didn't contemplate a commercial presence on those two bays on the lower right, but those are now part of Printemps' lease area, and so we're proposing signage matching the adjacent signage in those two bays. You'll see that in just a moment. Next slide. The Wall Street entry. This leads into the Red Room, up the steps. As you can see in these photographs, I think it's important to note that all the glazing around the Red Room has been obscured. There's a film that's been added to the glass you can't see in, and that was done sometime in the last few years. As part of our overall scope of work, that's all going to be removed. So you'll be able to see into that glorious room as part of the overall Printemps scope of work. And you can see at the center photograph the two revolving doors that need to be switched for code required reasons on the Wall Street entry. Next slide. And then the New Street side of the building. New Street, obviously the building has no secondary elevations because it occupies the full block, but it is the sort of service side of the building. There are louvers, and there's a single entry at the far north end of the New Street side, and that will serve as an entry, an accessible entry into Printemps space on the north side, as well as bringing visitors down to the lower level of the subcellar that will be used by their tenancies. Next. So an overall plan, this is Wall Street on the left, Exchange Place on the right. That dividing line splits the designated portion on the left and the non-designated portion on the right. The red room, that oval room on the far north side of the room, of the floor rather, it is not designated, but we are sharing some information about that and some scope so you can understand sort of how we're approaching certain aspects of the project. Next slide. This color-coded slide is really meant to indicate sort of the different uses that are going to be occupying, and this is just the ground floor plane. So left to right in the red-orange tone, that's going to be a retail location, a sort of a boutique retail location for Printemps. The blue next to it will be a brasserie. In gray in the middle is the building entry, the building lobby, and the elevators to the upper floor apartments. Just to the right of that in purple will be a small wine shop. And then in the non-designated portion of the building on the far right is a larger retail, sort of more department store format for Printemps. I'll just mention that the wine shop and the brasserie, they're coming to you next week to your licensing committee as part of a request and proposal for a liquor license. So I mentioned that because this is all obviously an integrated effort. Next slide. Some historic images. Overall images of the building. Let's go to the next one because there are a few relevant elements to the historic that I want to point out. So this is the Wall Street entry. Photographs from the 1930s on the left, and then designation photos from 2001 in the middle and the right. It's a little hard to see on the far right, on the far left, but two things to point out in that image and the far right is you can see that there's solid doors that are actually slider doors, they're pocket doors. And inboard of those are the existing revolving doors. So there's this sort of security layer. Those will be retained and left in the open position, but I do want to just call those out because you can see them clearly in the photographs. And then also on the far left, just above the granite water table at the left of the steps, that you can just make out sort of a gray smudge. That actually, if you blow up the photograph, it says Irving Trust Company. So historically, there was pin-mounted signage at that entry, and we're using that as a guide for signage to that primary entry for Printemps in this location. Next slide. Existing photographs. So this is now, I'm going to focus on the scope of the Wall Street entry. You've got two revolving doors. The leaves of the revolving doors are non-historic, but obviously they are in a historic location where there was a revolving door. And the glazing above and that beautiful filigree sort of deco bronze above, that is all original. The glass, as I mentioned, has all been obscured, so it's all translucent. It will be transparent back to the original condition at the end of the project. The doors themselves have also been obscured, so you can't currently see in. And I'd venture that views into this space, even with the historic revolving doors, were not through the revolving doors. They were through this tall transom window or double height window above, as well as all the windows around the base of the building at this end of the north end of the building. Next slide. So getting into the details of the proposed change. So on the left is an existing plan showing the leaves in the revolving door, and on the right is the proposed plan. And what is driving this is a need to provide proper egress out of this space. And one can't achieve proper egress, code compliant egress with revolving doors. So we need to remove the leaves of the doors and put in swing doors. And so we're proposing, and Denny, maybe you can highlight this with your cursor, we're proposing 2 3-foot wide doors with a frame that's set just inboard of the historic and decorative bronze detailing of this enclosure. Now, what happens when you take out the revolving doors and you put in a single layer of swing doors is you lose the sort of airlock quality of the revolving doors. And so you lose the ability to control the environment in the interior space. And given the finishes in the Red Room with its really ornate tile work, we want to make sure that we're providing proper condition to space and environmental control. So what we're proposing is actually to create a vestibule with an outer set of swing doors and then an inner set of swing doors. And in order to do that, we need a 4-inch distance between those two doors. So what we're proposing to do is to slightly stretch, and you'll see photographs in just a moment, the existing bronze enclosure for that revolving door, integrate new bronze panels on the side to extend it 4 feet to get the clearance between the outer set of doors and the inner set of doors. I'll remind everybody that the interior side of this, the back side of the vestibule enclosure, the revolving door enclosure, is not part of the designated space, but we are treating that space as if it were, just because of the quality of the finishes and the features in the Red Room and this enclosure. But in order to provide the code compliant egress, we need swing doors. And then in order to provide the proper environmental controls, we're proposing to modify this enclosure and integrate in swing doors inboard. And I'll just point out the dashed lines on the right represent the historic elements of this enclosure. And we're just basically separating it. And this is a unitized bronze system, historically built that way. We're able to separate it and insert two cast bronze panels on the east and west ends to extend it to get that extra 4 feet. So that is the proposed scope to the modifications at that revolving door. And again, we're not removing any historic fabric. The leaves of the revolvers are not historic, and we are modifying the enclosure that is historic, but there is no removal of historic fabric. Let's go to the next slide. So turning to the elevations, this is the existing elevation showing the narrow leaves of the revolvers. On the next slide, showing the 2 swing doors, pair of swing doors set into that enclosure. And we'll look at the doors a little bit more detail as well as the proposed signage. Next slide. So an existing elevation on the left and a proposed detail elevation on the right. We're proposing bronze doors with a detail that picks up some of the deco detailing seen elsewhere on the building. And inset into the doors themselves is a textured glass that we're proposing. It's sort of a deco, almost a jazz age inspired textured glass that will be just set into these new doors. And then obviously there'll be clear visibility over this enclosure into the beautiful tiled walls and ceiling of the space. But we think this adds a little bit of elegance into this entry that is fairly inelegant currently, and a little bit of sort of mystery and reveal as one comes through these doors into the space. Next slide. So as I mentioned, existing section on the left and a proposed section on the right, you can see the increase in the depth of the enclosure, and then one of the signage elements, pin-mounted letters on the limestone return that I'll get to in just a moment. Let's go to the next slide. So turning to the signage, so this is again this is going back to the Robert Stern approval from 2016. And so what was approved at that time were 18-inch tall dimensional letters, the word signage there, and that was mounted on a raceway away from the enclosure, just mounted onto the bronze, onto the limestone returns at this entry. And we've developed what we think is a more elegant solution that results in smaller signage and a sort of less impacts to the limestone itself. And we think it's sort of a better integrated solution. Let's go to the next slide. So what this is showing is a bronze dimensional letters. Instead of the approved 18 inches, they'll be 12 inches in height. And in the upper right section, you can see these are sitting on a small raceway that's attached to the non-decorative bronze flat soffit of the revolving door housing. And it brings the signage closer to the building instead of having it sort of floating out and spanning that opening. And is better sort of integrated into the overall assembly. There's a very small LED uplight behind the letters. So the letters are not illuminated. There's just going to be a glow behind the letters that perhaps, Denny, you can just circle that in the section detail where that's shown. It's a very small LED. It's about a 1/2 inch, 1 inch tall fixture. So that's the signage. It's basically swapping out the 18-inch letters for 12-inch letters and bringing it closer to the infill. Next slide. And then the other component that was approved in 2016 were these large plaques, these 14 by 40-inch, 41-inch solid bronze plaques. And looking at those historic photographs, we saw that historically there was pin-mounted signage in this location. So next slide. What we're proposing is just a discrete 4.5-inch letters. They're not individually pin mounted. They're going to be on a very slender raceway. So they're not multiple pins for each letter, but actually just 4 pins for the entire raceway. And that'll help if there's a turnover in signage, those attachment points can be reused and then somebody else's signage could land on that raceway. So this is going to be on either side, the east side and the west side. And one of the issues with this is that this entry is very deeply recessed. So from up on Broadway, you actually don't see the signage very clearly, the larger scale signage at the entry. So we thought it was important to see something at an angle from Broadway. And you'll see a rendering at the end of the presentation that illustrates that clearly. Next slide. So these are photographs on the interior, so within the red room of this revolving door enclosure. And you can see it's made up of these individual cast bronze panels. All of these features, all of these except for the revolving door leaves, all of these will be retained and basically just brought inboard in the space. And we know from documentation that the floor is not historic, that marble is not original. Historically, the space had a terrazzo floor, so there are no impacts and no loss of historic fabric. It just allows us to have both a code compliant entry, but also a properly conditioned space, which is very important for the long-term preservation of the room. Next slide. A couple other photographs with an existing key plan. Next. And then this is an interior proposed elevation showing the swing doors on the inboard side of this with all of the historic cast bronze paneling that exists today. Next slide. And then a side elevation typical. And so these dotted lines, that represents sort of where the insertion will be right down the middle to get that additional 4 feet of depth to allow for the proper distance between the 2 swing doors. Next slide. Turning to Wall Street, you saw these are existing photos. Next slide. So a little bit small scale, but I think it speaks to the over 300 feet of linear frontage of this building. So on the left, obviously, is the designated portion. On the upper register is the existing. On the lower is the proposed. And Denny, maybe you could just circle the dimensional letters at the sort of upper register that are proposed. And we'll look at this in detail, I promise. And then some very small letters right at the store entries that are part of the proposal as well. Next slide. So this is a rendering from 2016, and you can see the 18-inch dimensional letters that were approved. It says signage. And so we're working with that and then adding one element to the south of the residential entry. Next slide. So this is looking, again, a detail elevation of that approved signage. 18 inches set off about 15 feet off of the sidewalk on an extended armature or raceway. This is the current approval. And then our proposal is to basically locate it in the same elevation, bronze letters, again, with a very small LED behind it. So there's just sort of a wash of light behind the light. This is not face lit in any way or internally illuminated. It's just a very small LED fixture behind it that provides sort of a glow. And then right above where the brasserie will be, just 5-inch bronze letters in the transom, identifying the restaurant, and then a small menu box directly adjacent to that. So that's the sort of northern storefront entry that largely conforms to what's been approved. And then the next slide. So this is now showing the storefront bays to the south of the residential entry, which, as I mentioned, had been considered part of the residential entry scheme. And so when the leasing was done for Printemps, this was actually converted to commercial space. So previously there was no signage incorporated into the approval. So we're proposing similar dimensional letters at the same elevation as the approved letters at about 15 feet above the street. And then there'll be a wine shop. So we're proposing, again, 5-inch dimensional letters just adhered onto the transom glass. And so it's a sort of a balanced proposal between this side of the residential entry and the one to the north. Next slide. And then the last section, very simple, on New Street, you saw this photograph again, that entryway up near the north side of the elevation. That's going to be an accessible entry that will take people up one level to the ground floor, or actually down 2 levels to the subcellar where there's a food and beverage spaces that'll be available to the public. Next slide. So a part plan. So the plan on the left is that at grade level where you come in through that existing door. There's an elevator and stair. You can go up or go down. And then the plan on the right is the subcellar plan, where there's as I mentioned, a restaurant, kitchen, and then back of house space. Next slide. And the proposal here, existing and proposed elevations, really it's just a small plaque to the right of the door. And again, pin mounted letters on a raceway. Let's go to the next slide. You can see the existing photo on the right in the middle, and then the proposed elevation on the left. These very small 6-inch letters sitting on a bronze raceway, no illumination here. And then these are just attached with 4 small pins into the granite, bronze lettering matching the finish of the other lettering across the other sides of the building. Next slide. So this next slide, this is a rendering from the 2016 approval that just illustrates the elements that had been approved that we were inheriting. And the next slide is a rendering that illustrates the overall scope of work along Wall and Broadway. So again, on Wall Street, the change involves removing the non-historic revolving door leafs and putting in 2 swing doors, and then just modifying the approved signage in that location, changing the location of the letters above the door, changing the plaques to pin-mounted letters on the returns, and then on Broadway, utilizing the single approval for that sign, and then adding a matching one about 50 feet down to the south above the other commercial entry that'll be part of the Printemps lease area. So in terms of the overall scope, we've been very careful to not have removal of any historic fabric, and the integration of new features using the sort of detailing and materiality that one sees throughout the building. And the signage, given the scale of the building, the presence that Printemps will have in the building, we think is modest and sort of in keeping with a building of this age and scale. And we'd be happy to take any questions that you may have and hear your thoughts.
Who wants to go first? Anybody else? Vicky, Tammy, since you're here? No? I'll
Jason,
go.
I'd love to. I have a question.
Okay, you go.
I have no
Tammy,
questions.
go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
good, thank you. Gerald, go.
Okay, so am I understanding correctly that the revolving doors are being removed and replaced due to ADA?
No.
Not ADA, they're due to egress. So you can't egress legally. ADA is provided elsewhere.
Yeah,
But you can't have legal egress out of a space like this through revolving doors. You need swing doors.
It works towards our
even with revolving doors that have the breakaway panels?
the the code dictates that with a revolver, we require a swing door within 20 feet, and clearly we don't have one. So the only alternative is to convert them in kind within the historical fabric and not disrupt the ornate metalwork.
And I'll just, this doesn't mean you have to like it, but this is something that has come up on other projects. We worked at the AT&T headquarters building at 195 Broadway. And that's a very similar situation where there were revolving doors in some locations, and those had to be converted to swing doors for the same reason. So there are other locations as well outside of the Community Board 1 zone and other individual landmarks, but it is a condition that does occur in order to satisfy egress.
And I just want to add, very, very clear presentation and also very sensitive interventions here. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry if I rushed. I'm always sort of conscious, particularly the hours, or trying to get through a lot of information quickly. So thank you.
We appreciate that.
Oh, I lost you. Anybody else?
Oh, you want to go last?
No, I just want to move it along. I mean, I don't have much to say, so just if anyone else has anything to say, you go, Vicky.
Okay, well, it just kind of bothers me that you have so many I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name of this shop well enough. Printemps. Yeah, like these two that stick out of the building. That is the residential entrance, right?
Where the canopy is, right? So
Yeah.
this is sort of flanking.
Right. And so why do you have those two projecting shops out of architecture? Those two, that and the other one on the other side. And the only good thing is they balance, but why do we have to have that? And is the shop entrance there?
Of course, yeah. So those entries are identifying the locations of the entries to the the shop is all across the second floor as well, but there are entries in both locations where those signs are located. And our thinking here is that, given the scale of this building, two signs at 18-inch with 18-inch letters, it certainly doesn't overwhelm the reading of the building. There's a balance to it. And
No, I know.
This is a major.
It's not overwhelming the building. It's just overwhelming the whole flavor. I mean, hit our head over 14 times that you were there. The front door, as you mark it here, is lovely, and thank you for doing all that you do to respect the door, the entry. And I understand you walking down and seeing sort of sideways. Oftentimes we get these sign packages that are just so invasive. You're walking down the street and it's like commercial success. It's just a personal comment. I wish you didn't have that there.
Okay, any other personal comments or non-personal comments? Any comments from the public, all the people that are breaking down the doors to get into these meetings? No. So I will say, thank you for using the materials that are there and not shortchanging us. And I think it's complicated, and there should be a museum for revolving doors somewhere in like Jersey. But you're right. The sign package doesn't overwhelm the base of the building, and so I don't think we have any objections to it. I don't. So I would write a favorable, resolution, and I would call the question.
I second it.
Okay. So, Lucy?
Abstentions? Recusals? Opposals? Motion carries on 1 Wall Street.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank
who's
you.
next? Thanks, guys.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
The next one is Alice's resolutions, and she's not here, so I don't know if she gave them to you.
She emailed us at 5:59 and
Okay.
asked us to throw it into a deck, which I can't do from my phone. So,
I think I just saw your email, so would you like me to do that? And I don't know if Tammy's gonna be able
Tammy's
to stay
here.
on. I think she just ran. Oh, no, she's here. She's
I'm
here.
here.
Do you
Okay,
want to
so-
stay for 2 more resolutions?
In
Well,
for a
isn't
penny,
it-
in for a pound. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
While I
two
do
buildings.
that, Tammy, can you tell Jason what happened with 39 North Moore, and then I'll, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I can, although it's not going to be happy. Because it was a 3-3 tie, we emailed to find out what the answer would be on the application. And I am being advised that unless it's a majority and a positive, it doesn't carry to the full board.
I mean, that doesn't bother me. You know, if that's just the result. So do I have to
So
do
we just
something?
have to,
or
we have to tell the applicant. We need to give him an opportunity, or she, if there's, I wasn't here, if there's something that they want to change to try and get over the 3 abstentions, which act like a no. And if they do, then they can come back and do that. And then we can take it up from there.
we gave it a lot
Jason
of.
bring it up as new business, and then the full board
here's-
vote on it?
My preference is to give it, and just for the reason that we actually have given it over the course of the 2 months a lot of time already. So I don't want to give it any more time. So whatever doesn't give it any more time, and then if that means that person has to come back next month again, then we'll see them again. But it just
Which
doesn't seem
project
to.
is this?
This is the one with the bronze, the that you don't like, that nobody likes, but the 39. Oh, that was 39 North Moore. Oh, that's
Yeah.
different. Okay.
That's
Okay.
120. 120. I'm so opposed to, but
So what's our
39 are the black doors,
what's our
the-
option? What's our option on
the 3
39?
residential doors. Jerry, is that the one?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. The 3 doors on the ground floor.
So if I don't want to like berate this issue, but they're taking the very right door, the very left door, and trying to update the look because they don't want to come into their new place and look at this ugly stuff, right? And they're doing the best they can with something that doesn't really belong to them, meaning that they can maybe do the exterior of the door, but they can't change the mechanical system. God knows what's in there. And the 2 center bays that you guys would like to line up and have a base on the bottom, they were saying that they cannot reduce the glass because that allows them to have light and air because it's really deep and there's no windows in the back. So that's a hardship that I think we should maybe consider, letting go. Like I would have liked to have a
Okay,
base
so I'll
on
switch
that
my vote. I'll
glass.
switch my vote. I'll switch my vote to a yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's now cleared up, right, Tommy?
If you are on the record for that one, changing your vote, that brings it to 4-2. That is, I believe, your option.
Yeah.
Can
Okay,
you
so
do
that's
that?
done. Okay, moving on.
I try to
Uh,
share it. You're not seeing my share?
Doesn't matter.
No, we're not seeing it.
Listen.
Try again.
We have 2 buildings.
Can you see it?
Okay,
No.
yes. Well, yes, I see it. Okay. Alice wrote has written with the help of someone else 2 requests for evaluation. There are 2 of the buildings that were discussed in the previous month in my little short thing and then rediscussed very shortly at the full board meeting. Obviously, this building is beautiful that you see in front of you. There's no doubt about it. The other one is the post office. Someone else wrote the request for evaluation. I think the sense was in the last meeting that we would support at least these 2 buildings and then continue our search for districts or buildings. So I'd like to call the question. I'll write a resolution in support of putting in these resolutions. The applicant in this case for the request for evaluation will be Community Board 1. And
Yeah.
so hopefully everybody votes yes for that. And if they don't, hopefully it's a majority. And then I'll work with Lucy or whoever, however we put it in the way that makes it right. And then, does anybody, call the question? Does anybody disagree? Should we do this?
Yes.
Second.
Okay,
Somehow I
so-
can't see that I'm sharing, but
So we
if
just
you
did
guys
it.
are okay with it, we can move on.
Yes.
So it's 350 Canal Street and 285 West Broadway. Would you be taking those together?
Yes.
Yes.
Any abstentions? Any opposals? Any recusals? Motion carry. Go on, Jason.
Is there another one?
No, that's it.
Okay, so we'll see everybody at the full board meeting.
Thank you. Have a nice night. Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tammy.
Joining us.
Showing up.
Bye.
Bye all. Night.